Welcome to the presentation of a Solid Sports video blog. This is episode 247. Today's date, September 30th, 2023. I'm Troy West saying thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. I usually don't record this late in the day, but I had some definite technical difficulties. Internet was shut down for a little bit, but we're back. I actually was trying to record this morning and realized the internet was out, but now we back up and running. Thanks to the support I get here from our good friend of mine, Vet. So shout out to her. And like I said, just letting me stay here. I just appreciate that. But we got a big, like I said, we had a big blog to do. A lot of stuff I want to touch on. It is the middle of the day, so we could probably go over some live scores as well. As it's 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here where I am, so some college football games are final. Of course, the big Colorado game, we're looking to that score. Touch on the NFL for week 4. A lot of big games tomorrow. We'll break those down. I give my picks on that, and look at the current Major League Baseball playoff picture, because the season ends tomorrow. So big game tonight. Some teams could clinch and could be eliminated by tonight. So definitely looking forward to that. So but let's go ahead and get the baseball out the way. Like I said, it's close to playoff time, so teams are positioning themselves. And it's Saturday afternoon, so there might be some games that are actually live. We'll touch on those games, and then we'll look at the standings and the current playoff picture. Like I said, college football is in full swing as we speak as well. Like I said, I was prepping. I actually was in the middle of recording, and then I went to look up stuff on my phone and realized I couldn't. And that's when I realized, things was a little haywire. So only 2 games. One of them had playoff significations. The Rays clinched, so the Rays are going to be that top wild card team, but they play in the Blue Jays right now. Blue Jays still fighting for a playoff spot, but they lead the Rays in the top of the 4th 2-1. And the other game that's live is Tigers Guardians. Both of these teams are already eliminated. Tigers though lead it 4-0. Only significance of that game is Miguel Cabrera last few games of his career. Other big games we're looking forward to tonight that has playoff implications. I'm scrolling here. Cubs Brewers for the Cubs, because the Cubs are trying to pardon me, let me take this call. Alright, sorry about that. I got an important phone call. So let me not waste no more time. Let me get through this, because I want to go live at about 6 Eastern. with Crash Team Rumble. So I want to definitely get this up and done, and really the NFL part is probably gonna take the longest. But yeah, I was saying it's two games going on right now, but they the two games. The Blue Jays need to win to clinch a playoff spot. We're gonna look at the standings, but all the other games with playoff significations is Cubs Brewers. For the Cubs, the Brewers already clinched the Central, and they're gonna be that third seed in the National League. Cubs still try to fight for a playoff spot. Reds Cardinals, Reds trying to fight for a spot. Rangers Mariners, Rangers on the verge of winning the division, despite sort of slide. They had a little slide. Houston came back, so did the Mariners. That's been an exciting division all year long. Astros, Diamondbacks trying to still get in the playoffs. Astros trying to still hopefully win the West as well in the AL. And that's it. All the other games, the teams are either eliminated or the team already have established a spot. So let's look at the standings. Orioles, like I said, I'm from Baltimore. I'm not living there currently, but I'm from Baltimore, so I've been an Orioles fan for a long time. First division title, they clinched it on Thursday, and they will be the #1 overall seed in the American League. So that's like, I didn't see that come. I thought they might be a wild card team this year, but not win the division and had the best record in the league. Didn't see that coming, but congratulations to the O's. They play later on tonight at home against the Boston Red Sox, so they'll be at home for a while because they get a little break before after the wild card round. Then they will host. They know who their opponent is after that. Rays, they clinch a playoff spot. They almost have 100 wins. They're going to fall just short of that. But a great year for them as well. They led the division some part of the year as well. They are the #1 wild card. Toronto's still alive, like I said, and they lose it right now to the Rays, so that's a big series. Yankees and Red Sox, of course, are eliminated. Twins are your Central Division winner, and they will be the third seed, so they will have to play in the wild cards round, unfortunately, but they win the division, so at least they know they'll be at home for sure. And they won't have to play the Rays either, so that's good. But that probably ain't that good, because you're going to get either Texas, Houston, or Seattle. And like I said, Texas right now, if they win tonight, I believe they clinch. Or with a win and a Houston lose, Seattle is going against Texas directly. So if they win out, they will get it. I heard they got the tiebreaker as well. So if they win out, they will. They win out, and then Houston lose once. I think Seattle gets it, and Houston just need Texas to slip up once, and they will have it. So that's going to be interesting to see. So that's not clear yet. That's the little bit of the baggage there. In the National League, in the East, Braves are your overall 1 seed. My Atlanta Braves, I got my Atlanta Braves hat on. They are your #1 seed in the National League. To me, clearly the best team in baseball. But we'll see how the playoffs go. Phillies have clinched. They will be your #1 wild card team. Phillies had an up and down year, but they got it together. And they will can they make a run again, because they was a wild card last year. Got all the way to the World Series. Miami's still alive with 83 wins. Milwaukee, I mentioned them, they are Central winner. Cincinnati and Chicago Cubs are tied. Cincinnati, I guess, had the tie because Cincinnati is over the Cubs. And Arizona, with 84 wins. I think right now their current playoff team. Dodgers are your National League West winner. They'd be the 2, and Milwaukee would be the 3 in the National League. So let's look at the wild card picture, and then we'll get a real clear. But tonight, things could be, maybe settled. Like I said, Tampa is your #1 wild card seed. That's where they're going to be. So these games are meaningless. The last 2 games, today and tomorrow, they play in Toronto right now. Blue Jays are the 2nd wild card. Houston is the 3rd. Toronto is +1. Houston is the last wild card. So either one of those teams, 2 of them might make it. Maybe 2 of them might. 2 of them definitely going to make it. But one of these teams is not going to make it. One of the West teams, unless Toronto falls all the way off, and then all 3 West teams get it in. But I'm guessing one of them going to be left out. So winning the division is always better. So we'll see. Everybody else in the American League is eliminated. National League, Phillies, your number 1 wild card. That's set in stone. Arizona, just a half game up on Miami. Cincinnati and Chicago Cubs are on the outside looking in, but they still alive. But they could be eliminated tonight, as they're a game and a half out. So they lose tonight. If any of them lose tonight, they'll be eliminated. So it looks good for the Diamondbacks and the Marlins. Diamondbacks to me a little bit more surprised. Marlins had a good year last year under the radar. So you can have 3 AL East teams in. In the National League, you can have 3 AL West teams in. Or 3 AL East teams in the American League. So some of these divisions might get 3 teams in the playoffs. Now with this new format. So that's your playoff picture in the Major League Baseball. Sorry about this light behind me. Like I said, I had to cover these windows up here, so I can't use the natural light. I used to use the natural light from the sun, but it's really dark down here even during the daytime, so I gotta have this light on. So of course, let's move on to the NBA. Of course, the biggest news of the week, Damian Lillard getting traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. Of course, the deal was a 3-team deal. Phoenix was involved as they moved DeAndre Ayton to Portland. The biggest name that Milwaukee gave up was Drew Holiday, but they already were saying that either he's going to get a buyout or he's going to get released by Portland, so he probably don't never play a game for the Blazers. So now other contenders is vying for him. But let's just stick to the big fish first, Damian Lillard. Let me put my phone down for a minute. For Milwaukee, I mean, some people, I heard so many different opinions. If we just keep it on the basketball court, Dame is definitely a all-around scorer. Probably one of the best scorers the league ever had at the point guard position. Led the Blazers to a Western Conference Final, I think twice during his tenure. Maybe had a chance, had the Warriors on the, went against the Warriors. So, of course, that was a tough hill to get over. But he's a great player. Of course, he's a guard, so really, defensively, not, he's okay. But Drew Holiday is on another level defensively. But I think Milwaukee, offensively now, they're not going to have these droughts that they go on sometimes. And I think this will take even less pressure off Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton's a great player. He's been clutch in his career, especially during that finals run. But you can tell that he's on a lower tier. But he'll be the third guy. Dame will definitely be the second guy. Giannis will still be the first option. But I think this is going to help Giannis' game a lot because the double team is going to be less. You spread the floor with Dame. Like, you got to really respect Dame pretty much as soon as he cross half court. So I think Giannis going to have a lot of one-on-one matchups. And if he, double team, he kick it to Dame, or Dame can make a play, or Chris Middleton probably get open shots maybe more. So this is going to open the offense up clearly. Defensively, yeah, you lose Drew Holiday on the perimeter. That's going to help. That's going to suck. Dame is not the defensive player that Drew Holiday is, but far as but I think Dame will put pressure on the opposite team guards for sure. So that's going to be I think that's where it offsets. And then they're still pretty big. You got Giannis, of course. He's great defensively. Brook Lopez has came a long way. He's basically changed his game. Now he's a very, very formidable player in the NBA. And Bobby Portis, you know how rough and tough he is. So their front line is still stout. So I think, Dame might be in some battles outside the perimeter, but with a healthy Chris Middleton and Giannis, that's going to offset Drew Holiday. So I think the Bucks will be fine. Let's look at it from the Phoenix perspective as well. Phoenix got a little deeper. They get Nurkic, I can't never pronounce his name, for Portland, the forward. He's a pretty good player. I think Phoenix still needed another big man to round out their roster, but they got a little deeper. Got Grayson Allen. He came over from Milwaukee, so somebody that come off the bench, and he's scrappy. So they got deeper, which they needed to do. But like I said, I think they still need another center or forward to do the dirty work, rebound and block shots, on the defensive end. So Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. I think they're gonna play Devin Booker at point guard. Now I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he's better as a 2. He can run the point. I'm not saying he can't, but I just think, well, you know what? I mean, he can still score. He can still be the scorer. Because I think he's basically the #1 scorer, even over Durant. Right now, and Durant just haven't been healthy either the last few years. So, because he was doing it, he was averaging almost 10 assists and still putting up 27, 28 points. And Phoenix was effective. So maybe just a new project for him. I'd rather him play the 2. I'd rather him focus more on scoring and then get a point guard. That's why I think Chris Paul was so important, even though they let him go. And well, maybe we can mix it up. Maybe a backup point guard can run the point and he move over to the 2. Phoenix gonna be very formidable with that. They're gonna have a lot of firepower coming in, so we'll see how they handle that. And the negative part of it, DeAndre Ayton, he had a lot of problems at Phoenix in the locker room with front management, all this, all these rumors about the problem that he was. So he goes to Portland, and we'll see how his career goes. But I think this is his turning point in his career. He's gonna have to turn it around, or we're gonna start being a journeyman. I think he's gonna start moving around a lot if it don't work out in Portland. And the Blazers got some young talent. They just drafted the kid. What's Portland had? The #2 overall pick. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Probably should have wrote it down. But they got some young talent there. So, like I said, Drew Holiday gonna wind up moving on. So, Blazers get young and sort of hit the reset button. And the West is, the East is now the stronger conference overall. I think the West is starting to, there's still some good teams in the West, but I think the West, really after the Lakers, and the Lakers did really, really well in the offseason as well. The Denver Nuggets is formidable. We can't look at, especially now they won the championship, we can't look past them anymore. Like the Nuggets, it's a formidable team in the Western Conference. Other than those 2 teams, I think Phoenix still have questions. The Clippers still have questions, but they have potential with Westbrook, who has been healthy, but Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are healthy. Look out for the Clippers as well. They'll be a sneaky team next year, but can they stay healthy? That's been their issue. The Kings are coming, but I just still think they need another big piece for them to be formidable. Dallas, I still like. Can Kyrie and Luka work out some continuity? So it's still good teams out west, but I think overall, after the Lakers and the Nuggets, I think it's sort of wide open. So Blazers might get back into contention faster than they think. But it was a shock. It was a shock to me. I was shocked. Toronto started getting a lot of buzz. That's where he was going to be traded to, and I know he definitely didn't want to go to Toronto. And he really wanted Miami, according to what they reported. But I've been hearing all these theories. I don't know. I mean, maybe Giannis been sort of courting him for a couple of years. They said that they both wanted to play together, but both wanted the other player to leave their team. So that's where it was a disconnect. But now it's happened. So maybe, but like I said, maybe behind the scenes, Dame wanted Milwaukee the whole time. Like I heard that theory, and that it kind of makes sense. I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. Maybe he just said Miami, but Miami with Dame, they would have been a favorite as well, and they still gonna be a good team. But if they get like a Drew Holiday, that's why I'm about to go over to the East now. Drew Holiday now is the main piece that contenders might want. They even said Boston. Boston get him. Boston to me would be my favorite, even over Milwaukee, because with Tatum and Brown. Now that Brown is secured, he don't have to worry about being traded or anything like that. He's the highest paid player in the NBA right now. Tatum ain't going nowhere. They get Porzingis. Can he stay healthy? And he never been in this spot before. We're really on a winner, so we'll see if he can handle the pressure. Williams, that front line is stout. Al Horford, even though he's older, but he still can give you something. Boston is very deep. They say if they do go for Holiday, Brogdon might be involved in a trade with Portland. So we'll see. If Miami get him, that'd be great. You get a point guard, help Jimmy play a little off the ball a little bit. And then those two guys are dogs on the defensive side. I think he'll fit with the Heat culture. I think Dame would have too. But I think Drew Holiday would fit with that culture more than even Dame would. So I think if they get Drew Holiday, yeah, you didn't get Dame, and a lot of Miami fans are mad, upset about it. But I think y'all would be right there as a contender as well. Philly is a wild card. Philly, to me, they on the downside. We don't know what's going to happen with James Harden. He wants out, so if he wants out, you're not going to get his best. So it's just going to be Embiid, and I mean, they got a nice squad, you know, a lot of good role players. Tyrese Maxey is starting to become his own guy, but overall, Philly is just, I mean, I think they are tear down from Boston and Milwaukee. The Knicks got a lot of nice pieces, but, you know, I still think they have a ceiling. Cleveland as well. They haven't done much in the offseason, so they're going to be the same team. I think they still need a little bit more. But they're your top teams in the East, but if Holiday goes to any of those teams, they can change and make them better. So wherever he goes, it's going to make the team better. But let's see who really wants him. We'll find out, I think, as training camp. I think it's already about to be training camp. I think some teams in camp now. I know it's a preseason game this week, so yeah. So we're gonna really see things about to start getting real interesting in the NBA. One of the most exciting seasons to me. It's like this NFL season is great, and we about to get into that in a second. But yeah, the trade would have happened. I had to really shout out to my man James. I used to work with him. He's a Bucks fan. I hit him up on Instagram. He was in shock as well. I think everybody was in shock because Milwaukee was never brought up. But now, if you really think hard about it, like I said, all the stuff that's been happening slowly. Giannis just a couple weeks ago said he would leave if Milwaukee doesn't improve the team, and you get somebody that he clearly wants to play with. So that changes the whole dynamic of the NBA. They flavors to win it all, and I mean, I have to think some more, but definitely, I still like I said, I still like Boston. Boston to me just need a real point. Like I said, they just need a real point guard, and that's why if Dame would have went there, that would have changed the game as well. But if they get Drew Holiday, then Boston will be right there again. But it's neck and neck between Boston and Milwaukee. And out west, yeah, the Lakers, what they done in the offseason, I think they'd be better. Can't dismiss Phoenix and Denver. To me, they're the teams out in the west to be beat. So we'll talk more about this throughout the weeks. I have a special preview, so the day before the season. So look forward to that as well. Alright, so let's get into the NFL. Like I said, I'm sorry about this morning. It's 4:25. We're gonna I'm gonna touch on the Thursday night football game. We're gonna go through our picks for week 4, and then we're gonna look at the live scoreboard in college football. USC Colorado, that's already final. And a couple of big games that's going on right now. So let me pull up the schedule. But Lions Packers, I watched that game Thursday night. Lions was pretty dominant first half. Pretty much ran the Packers off the field. Packers made some adjustments in the second. I think Detroit sort of took their foot off the gas a little bit. Then in the fourth quarter, they revved it back up. Got that nice drive. They ran the ball well. Jared Goff made great decisions. Jordan Love, like I said, I like what Green Bay doing. Yeah, they 2-2, but you knew they was gonna have some growing pains this season. I think they're gonna win some games they ain't supposed to win. They're gonna lose some games they're not supposed to lose. It's just how it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be up and down. Yeah, I think they're gonna be around a 500 team. But I think, like I said, Detroit winning this game, I think it pretty much planted their flag in this division. I don't see Minnesota getting better. I don't see Chicago. Definitely don't see Chicago getting any better. They both 0-3. They both probably be 0-4 this week. We're gonna look at the schedules in a minute. Bears really look bad. Minnesota, at least they can score a little bit, but no defense, and they don't run the ball well as either. So, and the Bears are just bad at everything right now. So, yeah, Detroit, this was a huge win for them. We'll see, because as the lights get brighter, can they can they still sustain that? Now that you're going to be a team to be reckoned with, you will get teams their best game. So we'll see if the Lions can handle it. I think they can, at least for this division. Now after that, once the playoffs start, I don't know. I just still don't put them on a level with Philly and San Francisco. Philly impressed me Monday night. Still working out some kinks, but and San Francisco has just been on another level. We'll see if they I want to see how they play against the Cardinals. The Cardinals has been just a feisty team. You see what they did to Dallas. I don't think they're going to do it to San Francisco, but I just want to see San Francisco blow them out the water. Like, then, they're here and they ain't going nowhere. This, to me, this is, even though they expected to win this game, if they dominate this game, I'm even going to look at them even on a deeper light. At least I am. Alright, so let's get into week 4 games as we do our picks for week 4. Let me get my phone real quick. And this is what I found out this morning. I was like, whoa, something going on here. So I had to shut down the blog this morning. Excuse me. So let me pull that up. But first, before we get into that, it is a story in the NFL about Chandler Jones. I wanted to touch on that. I almost forgot about that. So let me touch on it. Let me just give a brief... Oh, I got some updated news because this morning... So he's been released. Chandler Jones has been released by the Raiders after this incident. He was arrested for allegedly violating a domestic violence temporary protective order. So I'm guessing he was supposed to stay away from maybe his significant other, and he didn't. So he was arrested on Friday, which was yesterday. But he's been away from the Raiders for a while. And he was on a non-football injury illness list. Oh, but he went on social media and wow. Okay, so he said he was taken to the hospital against his will by the Las Vegas Fire Department and later transferred to a behavioral health facility, which that's why I wanted to touch on this, because I thought it was more, and it might still be a mental health thing, and I know I deal with mental health, so wow, but they released him. Really not that much more information, but I knew it was something about, it was a domestic violence thing, so I don't know if he was in trouble for that before and a significant other, maybe he went around him. Let me see if I can find some more info on this, but this is sad, though, and Chandler Jones is a very talented player. Of course, he's the brother of John Bones Jones from the UFC. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to generalize it like this. You know, if you want to, I'm sure you can find more information if you look it up. But I'm just going to stick to the domestic. I mean, the mental health part of it. Like I said, I've dealt with mental health myself, and I've been guilty of posting stuff online. I just did it a couple weeks ago when I said, basically I said, why do I get up in the morning? And that could scare people. I don't know exactly what he wrote, but they were saying that that the Vegas police and the fire department was sort of monitoring his pulse. So they basically forced him to go to the hospital. That actually happened to me before as well, years ago. I don't know. Sounds like he's going through a lot. Like I said, I don't want to touch on the domestic thing because I don't know nothing about it. I don't know if he actually was, you know, did he hit his significant other, and that's why this order has been put in place. I don't know nothing about that. But I just hope the brother gets help, man. But the Raiders releasing them, so, and I'm not saying they releasing them for no reason, or that it is a reason. I don't know if they releasing them because he's really just in the wrong here, or is it just they figure he needs to really step away from the game and get his life straight. But either way, you know, I don't, just like with the Ray Rice thing, like just to sort of mix both of these together. Like I didn't like how, of course, Ray Rice was done wrong. Like I don't think nobody would barely disagree with that. Yeah, he did what he did, but for the league to just throw him away like that, even the Ravens, and I'm a Ravens fan, I didn't agree with the release. I mean, I thought he probably should be suspended maybe the rest of that season, you know. But I didn't think he deserved. Basically, his career was over. It ended his career. But then it's hypocritical. You know, I can't say hypocrisy right now, but with other players that have done way worse than what Ray Rice did, they still in the league, or you know. So, but for this situation with Chandler, I just hope he gets his help that he needs, and he's able to play football again, because he's a great player, and the Raiders could lose him right now. Look at how the Raiders, you know, even though they pass rush is still kind of formidable with Max Crosby and that front line. It's just the back that the Raiders had problems with. So let's pull up the NFL schedule for Week 4. We're going to try to get through these games quickly. Then we're going to look at some college football scores, and then we're going to get out of here. Like I said, every week, you know, I write down the big 5 games. The 5 games I think are the biggest in the NFL for the week. And then we will, you know, the other games I'm just going to try to touch on briefly and move on. Okay, I'm looking at some of these college football scores as well. We're going to look at those. Let's see, NFL. Alright, so I got the schedule here. Of course, Lions defeated the Packers on Thursday night, so that game is in the books. We got a London game tomorrow. Falcons at Jaguars. Jags been a little bit disappointing in their first 3 games so far, especially the loss to the Texans last week. Falcons have been good. They fell last week, but coming with some momentum. But the Jags just play well in London. I think the Jags will win this game. They go to London every year. I think they played 2 games in London this year, so but they play well there because they used to going there as an organization. And there's been rumors that they might move there when the Jags was having their problems with their stadium and stuff like that. I think they figured that out, but yeah, it was possible they was gonna move overseas. So, but I think the Jags will win. I think it's plus they just tell. I think the Falcons. I think it'll be a close game. I think the Jags will pull it out in London. My Ravens against the Cleveland Browns. This is a huge game. This is on my big 5 games of the week. Not just because I'm a Ravens fan, but this is a huge game for both teams. Browns, of course, lost Nick Chubb, but really had a good show last week. Deshaun Watson played well. But this is probably his biggest game of his career in a while. I think if he could win this game and look well, I think that'd be great. Ravens, I might sound pessimistic, but I just don't like the way they look, even though they 2-1. And the Colts loss to me proved that the offense is just not on the same page. Yes, we have a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball, like the injury bug is going to get us again. But at the same time, you know, the offense just don't look sharp. And then Cleveland is a great defense. So this is gonna be a tough game, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm speaking as a fan here. I think my Ravens somehow pull it out in a close one, maybe by a field goal, probably a low scoring under 20s game. But I think the Ravens will pull it out and get this W. But it's gonna take, like I said, it's gonna. I think they gotta just let Lamar be Lamar. It seems like I don't know if they handcuffing Lamar, like, you know. And I'm gonna watch this game tomorrow. You know, I didn't watch the first 3 games. Honestly, I just seen mostly highlights, but I want to see a whole game to just see the vibe and the continuity of the offense. So I'm gonna get to see that tomorrow. But I don't like how the Ravens offense looked at all. So it just sucks. So hopefully they can turn it around. But this is a big game for both teams. I think the winner of this game, just similar to Detroit and Green Bay, I don't think the winner of this game is clearly the division, because Cincinnati's still there, even though they just won their first game last week, and Pittsburgh also is right there. So but the winner will be in a good position. But I think the Ravens will get it done. I say by at least a field goal. Alright, dang, I let the phone cut off. Okay, let me start speeding it up a little bit, even though we got another Big 5 game. To me, biggest game of the weekend, clearly. The Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Miami 3-0. You look how great their offense has looked. There's still questions on defense, and that's why we'll see if the Bills can challenge that. Bills, of course, had that opening loss to the Jets on a Monday night. The night Aaron Rodgers got hurt. But since then, 2 dominant wins against the Raiders and the Washington Commanders. So this is a step up in competition. We'll see how the Bills look here. But I'm going to go with the Dolphins. Like I said, I really like the Dolphins this year. Offensively, they definitely proven it. Defensively, like I said, still some holes there. They definitely going to be challenged in this game on the defensive side of the ball. But I just think the offense going to put too much pressure on Josh Allen. He might try to do too much. Maybe turn the ball over a few times. And if you do that against this offense, and it's early in the year, so it's probably not going to be that cold up in Buffalo. So I think the weather is not going to be a factor unless it's raining or something like that. Tomorrow, which has been raining on the East Coast, at least where I am in New Jersey, for the last week. Like every day it's raining. I think it rained a little bit today again. So it's been raining every day here for the last week. So but I like the Dolphins to win the game. Bills are favorite though by 2.5, and I mean, I guess I can't argue with that. They're at home, and Miami, like the way Denver looked, they beat New England in a close game. So but I like the Dolphins though. I think the Dolphins win this game outright, and I think it's they're gonna definitely wake up some people with this win. This is probably a battle for the number 1 pick. I think the loser of this game might be the number 1 pick. Denver Broncos and the Chicago Bears. I'm not going to spend too much time on this game. We know how bad both of these teams have been, but I think the Broncos are playing a little bit better, so I'm gonna go with the Broncos to win that game. This is an interesting game. Actually, this I did put this game on my Big 5. I think I put this game on my Big 5 only because I think also I think the loser of this game is going to be the media, especially in Chicago. If Chicago lose, man, it's going to be crazy there. Even if Denver lose, it's going to be crazy. Especially if Russell Wilson looks bad again. Sean Payton, basically the Broncos are embarrassed mostly because they ran their mouth in the offseason, particularly Sean Payton. He ran his mouth, basically threw Nathaniel Hackett under the bus, and giving up to 70 points. That was embarrassing last week to the Dolphins. Bears, they just look bad. Like, I watched them last week against Kansas City, even though Kansas City is clearly the better team, but the dominance, just no continuity on either side of the ball, no communication, just bad all around. Despite how bad the Broncos has been, I just think they've been playing a little bit better than the Bears, and I think that's going to be the factor. And I think they win this game. I think some heads about to start rolling in Chicago. We're probably both of these teams, even if the Broncos win. This win, it'd be an expected win, so it's not going to move the needle too much. You still got all the season to go, so. Alright, Steelers, Texans, that's what I was about to go on and talk about. I like the Steelers in this game, but the Texans, to me, like I said, has been showing me some fight. So I think this might wind up being a closer game than we think. But I'm going to go with the Steelers. Vikings, Panthers, another 0-3 matchup. Vikings just the better team. I think the Vikings will win. Same with how I feel about the Broncos and the Bears. I just think the Vikings have been playing better. Panthers, like I said, they taking their lumps. So they're going to get another lump, and the Vikings should win that game. Rams and Colts. This is an interesting game. Colts, surprisingly 2-1. They did say Anthony Richardson will be ready, so he will start. Rams, like I said, they have talent. They're going to be in a lot of ball games. And I'm gonna go with the Rams slightly. I just think the Rams just a little bit more seasoned. I think they'll pull out the win, but the Colts, same for the Texans, just been fighting hard at playing. So I'm gonna go with the Rams though in a close game. Buccaneers, Saints. This is a sneaky big game. Is Derek Carr ready? I'm not sure if Derek Carr gonna play. If he does, I'll go with the Saints. But if he don't, I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers. But let me see if I can check that. Of course, Derek Carr got hurt last week, so I don't know if he's ready. I don't see anything. Let's see. He's questionable, so questionable. He ain't been ruled out, so with that being said, I'm gonna go with the Saints. Over the Buccaneers. I like the Bucks been fighting with Baker Mayfield. Like I said, he's a former number one overall pick. Mike Evans is still Mike Evans. He dropped a lot of balls though Monday night. He dropped a lot of balls to me. He dropped at least 2-3 balls that he normally don't drop. But that Saints defense, that's why I'm going more with the Saints. And if Derek Carr could just get him a touchdown or two, I think they'd be fine. I'm gonna go with the Saints slightly over the Bucks. Eagles, Commanders. Eagles 3-0, Commanders 2-1. Commanders, like I said, Sam Howell, that offensive line has been bad. He's been getting beat up, and now you're going against this Eagles defense. I see the Eagles winning probably big in this game. I'll go with the Eagles. Buccaneers, Titans. Bengals, Titans, excuse me. Titans, to me, coming out the gate, ain't looking kind of flat. Cincinnati starting to get their burns. I'm going to go with the Bengals in a close game. Raiders, Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chargers, but I think it's going to be a crazy game. Chargers always in crazy games. Raiders as too, they be in crazy games, so I think the Chargers win slightly, though. I think that'll be close. Alright, here's another Big 5 game. Patriots and Cowboys. Cowboys 2-1. Patriots 1-2. Both of these teams got decent defenses. But I'm going to go with Dallas slightly. But I think this will be a tight game as well. Very, very disappointing loss last week to the Cardinals. I think they're going to be focused and ready. So unfortunately for New England, I think they're going to get Dallas' best game. But I think Bill Belichick is going to take whatever the Cardinals done and probably multiply times 2. And Zeke Elliott, even though he's downplaying it, I think he's going to want to play well. I think he's going to get more burn in this game. So I think it'll come down to a field goal. I think the Cowboys do win it, though. Cardinals 49ers, I touched on this game a couple of minutes ago. I think the 49ers are going to blow the doors off the Cardinals. And if they do, like I said, it'll submit even further that they're the best team in football. I'm going to go with the Niners. Chiefs and Jets this Sunday Night Football. Chiefs 2-1, Jets 1-2. A lot of turmoil around the Jets, around Zach Wilson. Me personally, like everybody said, get him out of there. They saying it's a locker room thing, and maybe it is, but the truth is he's the best quarterback you got right now. Trevor Siemian just got there, so we'll see. We'll see if they make the change to him. We'll see. I guess Zach will get outplayed, but as of right now, he is the better quarterback. So they just gotta basically run the ball, play action, simple offense, and just hope the defense will hold up. But you're going against the Chiefs, and they offense like they got it back together, even though it was against the Bears. So I expect the Chiefs to win this one. And Monday night, this made my final Big Five game of the week. Final game of the week: Seahawks at Giants. Both of these teams were playoff teams last year, both wildcard teams. Seattle is on their way there again after that loss. The opening week, they looked sharp. Geno Smith got it back together. Giants really could easily be 0-3. They came all the way back from the Cardinals. But other than that, the Jets made them look. No, not the Jets. Excuse me. The Cowboys destroyed them, and they lost big against the Niners, which the argument I've got against that, they might be the two top teams in the NFC, but at the same time, they looked so bad against them. But I expect the Seahawks to win this game. I suspect a competitive game. I think this would be real competitive, but I think Seattle just is playing better than the Giants. Like I said, Geno Smith is another quarterback. Like I said, I gotta give my Burns too. He was somebody I was hard on throughout his career, but he's turned his career around, and he's looking like the Geno from last year again, even though he started off bumping his head in opening week. Daniel Jones, I want to see something from him as well. So we'll see. This is an interesting game, and this could go a long way for NFC tiebreakers as well. So this is a huge game Monday night, but I think Seattle pulls it out and win it. All right, y'all. So that's my week 4 picks. Let me go ahead and try to get out of here. Like I said, we don't have a lot of time. Like I said, this is a weird time. I was going to do it. I got up at 9 in the morning. I was going to do it at 9 in the morning. Then I was going to go live on Crash TV Rumble at noon. But like I said, the internet went out for a while. So now it's back. So I said I'm still going to record. As long as if it would have been at night, if it would have came back on at night, or if it would have came back on now, I just would have waited till next week to do one. Alright, so just the final thoughts with the channel. Like I said, I'm doing live Crash TV Rumble in about an hour. I'm going to go live at 6 p.m. So come join me. We're going to play all the modes. We're going to start with Swap Bank play. The game for the weekend, we're going to play that. We're going to play competitive. We're going to play party mode, and then we're going to do competitive last. So we're going to do 3 hours. And then I might be right into Call of Duty after that. So just stay tuned for all that. Hades, I got a Hades video. I'm going to do that, but I'm gonna have to probably do that, finish that tomorrow. But I might go ahead and get the part 1 and go ahead and upload that now that the internet is back. And just finish the other parts tomorrow, early in the morning, because I'm watching my football tomorrow, so I ain't gonna be doing much tomorrow. Maybe Monday I might do some stuff, but tomorrow I'm not doing much of nothing. We'll be watching my football all day, so. Okay. Alright, so let's look at some college football scores, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Of course, the biggest game, everybody wanted to see USC and Colorado. Coach Prime and the Buffs trying to avoid a second straight loss, but they couldn't. USC wound up winning it 48-41. Like I said, Colorado just, they don't have a good front line on both sides, offensively or defensively, and it shows against this higher competition. And they was down big in this game. I didn't see the game, but I looked at the scoring line. USC pretty much jumped on them early. Colorado kind of came back, but it was too late. So 48-41 was that final. Other top 10 game, top 25 games, Penn State over Northwestern. That's clear. Penn State to me I've seen a little bit of them. To me, they look very, very strong. So that's a team just to look out for the rest of the season. LSU Ole Miss, that's a top 25 game in the SEC. That's coming up at 6 p.m. Oregon Stafford, as Oregon try to stay undefeated. Oklahoma play Iowa State. Notre Dame, Duke, that's a primetime game. That's a big game in the ACC, even though Notre Dame is basically independent. Tennessee, South Carolina, Alabama play Mississippi State. Washington, Arizona, these games just later on. Fresno State, undefeated. They play later on tonight. Yesterday, Oregon State beat Utah. Utah was top 10 before that. But they've been sliding, they've been just getting by. So scores in progress: Missouri over Vanderbilt. Missouri's ranked 23rd. Texas over Kansas, close 13-7. As they near halftime, Michigan dominating Nebraska. That's not a surprise. Georgia in a fight with Auburn as they tied at 10 as it's about to be halftime. And Kentucky blows out Florida. Florida is my team as far as college, 33-14. So they are your college football scores right now. But by the time you see this, of course, some of those scores will change. Alright, so that's it, man. I'm gonna wrap this show up. I appreciate you guys for coming by. Late in the afternoon, like I said, I usually do the vlog in the morning because I like to do it before everything happens. But it's fine. Like I said, I'm gonna put something on my community wall, Crash Tape Rumble. Come join me around 6 o'clock. We're gonna try to do 3 hours, so come join me for that. But other than that, man, I appreciate you guys for coming by. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I ain't gonna waste no more time. Thursday night football, we'll be back Wednesday. The Thursday night game is the Washington Commanders. Oh, sorry. The Washington Commanders and the Chicago Bears. So, we're still previewing, even though a lot of people ain't gonna be interested in the game unless you're a fan of both of those teams. But Washington, and the Bears, they probably both will come in with a loss because I expect both of them to lose this week. But we'll look at that game and look back at week 4 as well on Wednesday. So join me then. Troy West said, thank you so much for watching. Join me at 6 for Crash Team Rumble Live. You come over there, hang out, talk a little trash, and I'll see you guys then. Thank you so much. Peace and love, everybody.